generosity in your sub per month. You're a very kind person. Sub hype train, big sub hype trains for that guy. All right, so Alistar coaching. We're getting BM'd pretty hard right now. By Alistar. It's outrageous. Yeah. For those who don't know, I'm pretty sure Neace OG was like my first emote, I think. I don't think I had. If I had an emote before that, I don't remember what it was. I think the Neace OG was like my first ever emote. And you only get that if you're like a baller and do the big Twitch cash grab giant sub. Oh, this lane's pretty tricky. I love that you took Ignite though. It wasn't so efficient in terms of like a level 2. Like here, I would be pinging either Draven or Lulu and going for a big trade and trying to encourage Sivir to go for it. But she wasn't in much of a position to help. She didn't even auto attack reset. What a trash can. It would have been hard trading if I was Sivir. Now, like I say in a lot of the coachings, I feel like I'd be bullshitting if I didn't say right now I'm not a huge fan of champions like Alistar, champions that are heavy utility, which is what I view Alistar. It's not to say that we're not gonna learn anything here. And also I've heard time and time again people tell me like, hey, I know that's your thing, but that's not my thing to play a fucking carry support. And I get it. So what we'd be focusing on is making sure that your engages make sense. And making sure that you're not doing anything that's just stupendously stupid. It sucks that level 3s versus level 2 we're still running away. Honestly, I mean, Longbow, thanks for 15 months in a row. I cringe internally when I see this. Hold on, let me think about this for a second. Personally, I think you can knock Draven away at the very least. I don't know if I would combo him, although you can consider that. I may not be here often due to life. Hey, you're the man though. Thanks for being a sub for so long. Sub hype train for that guy, please. For Longbone. Sub hype him up. Give him the love that he needs. I think that you can try to like knock up the Draven and combo him, but I don't think Sivir's gonna really follow it up in a serious way. You could very easily just headbutt him here and cause him to miss his axes, and then you can basically end this aggression right out instead of watch what happens. That's one option that you have, but I mean this is a shitty lane just because Sivir doesn't really know how to play it, and this is what I hate about utility sports. This shit sucks. Because essentially, alright, for those who are wondering why am I saying Sivir's playing it bad, Sivir should be just hard shoving the lane if she can. And as you can see, she is just kind of like coexisting in the lane. That's not really what you want as Sivir. You want to try to shove into this guy if he gives it to you. because then it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the lane phase. But Draven's also shoving into us. I mean, he has a skin, so, you know. Skin Draven's gonna know what he's doing, right? XD. If you wanted, right here, you could potentially make a play, and I think it would be a very smart move, and we're going to talk about it for a second. Normally, here's the thing about Alistar that isn't used enough. You can trade summoners here very, very easily if you wanted. Draven should not be autoing you in this position with one minion behind. Because the reason why I say that is because if he autos you here, the tower is going to take it. You could, if you wanted, flash here. You could flash Q and then knock him into tower. And trade basically your flash for this guy's flash and potentially heal. Okay? If you wanted. And honestly, to me, these are situations that I would live for if I was playing Alistar, is I would go for this situation a lot. You can see it coming too. So it's not just like a reflex situation. You can see it coming. Yeah, that's true. She probably reacts in polymorphs. I mean, if you do it fast enough, there's a chance you get away with it. But at the same time, it also assumes that our opponents are competent. Because I'm pretty sure if you flash pulverize there and then go for the knock up, she may not react fast enough to polymorph. But then again, you can't really know that. It just basically at this point, I'm looking for an option for you to win the lane outright. Because right now we're just mooing and AFKing in lane, which is what I absolutely despise. And we are kind of, we're just kind of waiting for the game to come to us. Which is not what, I'm not a huge fan of it. ADC is the strongest lane in the game for carrying. It's an ADC meta. It's also simultaneously the lanes with the most volatility because players are so bad and so good at the same time. Supports are just underplayed completely, so the supports you get are often really bad, so the games are just a toss-up. Don't take that kill. Let's look at this again. I'm not entirely sure we have to flash here. The Dr. VG. Thank you very much for the sub. Sub hype train for that guy. Thank you, thank you. I'm fairly confident that we don't have to flash for this. I appreciate your decisiveness, but you also need to recognize when you can avoid, like when you can essentially keep your flash. This guy's trading with an Alistar, like straight up. It's clean. Like, your combo is clean. I think it's you buffer it before flashing, which I think is good. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't think you needed to make that. I don't think you need to flash there, and having your flash for another engage or a follow-up after the fact would have been very cool for you. But I see why you did it, because you're essentially doing what I was telling you to do, which is to knock Draven into the tower. It's also very face up that an Evelyn gank's coming, although these guys will never figure it out anyways. But this, yeah, the taking the kill, I'd probably say as Alistar, just, it's like taking a kill as Blitzcrank or something. It just doesn't really do anything. It's like taking it just in general, like taking kills for champions like Alistar is like negative. It just doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't do much at all. Now, if you had one of those supports that we talked about, like the carry supports, or even like a Bard can afford taking a couple kills because he can just get like an early sheen and smack people around. But with Alistar, though, that kill right there is quite clearly had by the Sivir, so there's no reason to auto the guy there. You're basically just taking a kill for no reason. Essentially, I normally am all about like taking the kills and carrying the game, but I have not. It has not been proven to me that. Oh yeah, that's true too. I suppose if when you factor in Mobies, it is a very good point. Talking about Mobies, we're talking about how if the support takes the kill, he can get an early Mobies and Sightstone. I guess that would be the only time. That would be the only thing you would get, though. That would be the only time that you could justify getting the kills, because the big power spike on support, honestly, the biggest power spike for supports in this meta, I think, is the Mobies. So as long as we can afford Mobies and maybe some health, I think it's okay. And then maybe you can sell me on the idea that it's all right to take like a kill early, and then beyond that you don't want to touch it at all, because you're not going to really get much out of those kills. Well, for the early game you don't really need Ardent Sensor, and to be fair, I'm not even sure if we play Ardent Sensor on Alistar right now. Yeah, we don't. They just do. Most of the Alistar players just run like Locket, which is what I figured. It's always Locket or Righteous Glory or something like that. Let me back up a little bit. I gotta see this again. Oh yeah, if you're playing, to be clear, if you're playing, also more sub hype trains for Dr. VG, guys. Hype him up subs, don't leave him hanging. If it's like a Zyra, sure, like, if it's a Zyra, if it's a Brand, if it's a, you know, like one of my tricky supports, like a Lux, Xerath or some shit, yeah, you take the kills. Yeah, because you can transition. If you get fed, you can transition. Champion like Alistar, we don't really get that luxury of, like I said, beyond the Sightstone Mobies, it doesn't really do you any good to get a bunch of kills. You can't transition those kills into anything reliable in the game. You can't transition those kills into like dueling people or anything, you know, substantial in that regard. You can't really transition it into split pushing. You can't really transition it into wave clear. So taking kills basically just bite your team in the ass. When you get kills, you need to pass them, because you've already accepted that your team is going to be carrying you for the most part. When you take a champion like Alistar, you've pretty much accepted the proposition that if I do my job well, my team will be carrying and I will be supporting. Thanks, guys. Don't worry about team comps unless you're like really high elo. Team comps mean nothing. It's just some shit that newbies in League get amped about. Don't worry about team comps. Yeah, we can turn off fog. We can always turn off fog. At the moment, we're just getting shoved in, so fog doesn't really do much for us. And we can't engage onto Draven, Lulu. We pretty much can't engage onto them like ever. Unless a gank's coming. We're looking for a double pulverize, by the way. Or Evelyn ganks. I mean, this is like the only cool thing we can do in this game. Puka, thanks. How do you deal with selfish team as ADC? Don't worry about your team. I am plat 2. Is that high elo? It's higher than most. I still wouldn't worry about all AD teams in that elo though. I'm not entirely sure why Evelyn pathed through the one spot that's gonna have brushes or is gonna have pink wards. Like, if you're playing a champion like Evelyn, try thinking outside the box a little bit. Shanked, thanks for the sub, dude. Sub hype train for that guy. Yeah, we can fix the overlay. First replay of the day. Don't hate me. Welcome, Shank. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I don't know why she takes that route when that's like the only time she's almost always gonna run into wards. She should have pathed in and got vision and then walked into the brush or whatever she needed to do, where it's less likely that there'll be pink wards. So Draven gets popped and Lulu doesn't ult. Interesting. I would like to see roam from this position, to be honest. Maybe try to find something to do with Evelyn. Because at the moment, we're just sitting here waiting to flip. Fair Gamer, thanks for 30. Appreciate it. Yeah, make sure to submit it. Taco God, who do you think are the best supports right now? I will play any... For solo queue, I play carry supports. I think those are the best. And Frost Queens will be buffed soon, too. I'm pretty sure. You do start to roam, so this is pretty good by you. You're gonna have to trust your Sivir can just wave clear. You're comboing way too early here. He just got stunned, so slow play this next time. See how long the stun lasts for 1 second. You have 1 second of wiggle room there, so don't feel like you have to go right on top of it. Try to chain that shit together, because the reason why I'm saying this for Kane specifically is he's so fucking mobile. Baseman, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, half a second versus a full second. It's a very big deal. If you can calmly CC, you get better at calmly, like, I'm gonna walk up, I'm gonna wait a second, then I'm gonna CC, then I'm gonna, you know, knock up or knock him back, whatever I'm gonna do. It's a little bit easier for a secure the kill. Looks like you guys are just gonna pop him though. I guess he doesn't have ult. Still on cooldown. Basemend, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Sub hype train for him. Love those new subs coming in early. Thank you guys. How do ADC guys, Cutie Pie, play different ADCs? So climb. They've been playing since beta, dude. Don't worry about what they're doing. Just worry about doing your best. The best players in League have been playing for a long time. That's why you don't worry about what they're doing. Enz Jr., thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it. Welcome. Enjoy your stay. Love you, dude. The roam was good by you. This is something that I advocate for big. If your bot lane's crushing, it does no good as a utility to support to sit down at bot lane and start roaming around the map and getting things done. I'd be shoving the lane here with your ADC. You don't help, but it's okay. It's Sivir. Kane gets out of line. You knock him away. Would you ever recommend climbing ranks with ADC to support a solo queue, or does it add too much? I'm working on the EUS trip. I'm actually thinking about doing Germany as the destination. Germany or Denmark, and that depends heavily on Wicked, whether or not he is doing his thing or not by then. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna probably play support, carry support style when I play there for a climb. This was pretty, oh no, keep him in there. I think you should keep him in there. Force him to use cooldowns. I mean, yeah, dude, force him to use more cooldowns. I don't know if he has. No, he didn't have Shadow Step at all. You could have kept him in. If you keep him towards the top side, at the top side of the base, he's level 9, so we really want this kill. We want him to die if we can get him. We don't want to push him out. Like, even if you trade Pantheon's life for the kill, I think that would be good. Because at least you're getting all that XP from it. Alright, so what happens to Sivir? I need to back up here and see this again. So you go to hold mid, which I think is perfectly acceptable for you to float around and catch the XP. You're trusting Sivir to do her job, her function as an ADC. What the fuck is she doing? She played it really fucking bad. She wasted her E. And then she's gonna get all in. And she also ulted late. There's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do about that. Why not the Netherlands or Austria? I'm trying to find a place with good ping though too. And she gets dove again. So she basically, again, nothing you can do about that. She's just dead. The first death is just unlucky, whatever. The second death is just her being an idiot. Pretty sure she just walks in there and dies. Oh yeah, she noobs out. She has E and everything. Yeah, she's just choking. I want you guys to remember this. This is why I don't like playing. This is gold, by the way. This is why I don't like playing champs like Alistar, for the record. This is a perfect situation. That's a standard, like, she should be able to survive. She can max range with her Q and wave clear. She walks right into fucking Kayn, gets comboed, gets all in, as probably rage pinging her support or some bullshit. Typing at support. I don't know why you're staying around. You kill yourself here. You combo. You're leaving here. Like, you should recognize as a support, it's your job. This is a 3v3 with a giant gangplank running down here. You don't want this at all. So you should just be bailing at this point and just protecting your life, basically. Protecting that XP you're gonna give away and the gold you're gonna give away. Evelyn's not gonna. Evelyn is a squishy jungler, so like collapsing in here is not gonna do anything. You're not gonna save her. You're not gonna bail her out. You shouldn't be dying as well. That's just a mistake on your part. This fight was over. You're 2-0-7. Let it go. You should know better. All right, Stavros. Appreciate it, dude. Toot, toot. Make sure you get the replay in. Good, you hit them both with the knock-up. I mean, honestly, dude, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. You win your lane, but you're, this is the story. This is the story of... I mean, what do you think about this, Ray? What do you think about a game like this? How is Alistar supposed to win? For those who don't know, Ray is a high elo EUS support. What can I tell this guy other than don't pick Alistar? That's a serious... I mean, you've been watching this with me? Like, I just... As a coach, it's hard. Because it's like... Man, I look like such a glorious talker right now. Like, I mean... the dude takes Ignite. He does everything that I want him to do. I guess he did take a kill. He roamed. He tried to roam. He left his ADCs alone. His ADC throws a lead. It's outside. That's outside of his control. Like you want to roam when your team's feeding and try to get something going, because you can't just like AFK push bottom, because you're not gonna really get much done. You're just gonna get collapsed on. It's one of those games I don't think he has a lot to do. I guess there's an option to let Sivir wave clear and go mid. Well, he did. I mean, he did. I don't know if you were here before. He did. He moved to mid, and then Sivir got dove basically solo by Draven. Because the Sivir misplayed. I mean, he went... He did try. It just didn't pay off this time. Yeah. I figured. I mean, this guy's hit every combo. It's not even like he's bad at Alistar per se. It's not, because he's hitting his combos. Yeah. That's what I think too. Now, I've seen your win rate. I've seen you play on NA with a high win rate as Thresh. What is the... Can you explain to me... You're getting bonus coaching because you're getting advice from someone else who's a lot better at support than I am. For sure, on utility supports, Ray's the man. What makes a champion like Thresh able to sneak a win in games like these? I'm sure you've seen games like these where you've won. Is it just because Thresh has the hook? Is that really what it comes down to? Just ranged pick? Is that the difference? Or is Thresh just laying that much better? Like, what is the difference between Alistar being a shit champ for climbing as utility and something like a Thresh being not quite as shit? That's what I would want to. That's what I'm trying to understand. Win bot lane, take tower and Drake if you can. Good roaming to mid, top. While coming from base with Mobies, picking off people in mid game's pretty easy. Yeah, I guess just not. I guess just being so one-dimensional, in that you don't have like any sort of range pick, would play a big part. And to be fair, this dude didn't have. I don't really know how you would win versus Draven Lulu with Alistar without any sort of. Without a strong AD carry. Ole is playing higher elo though, where Alistar would make a lot more sense if you... Just winning the first 10 minutes as hard as possible for like Diamond 2, you have a good win rate no matter what, yeah. I feel bad. I feel bad for coaching shit like this. Because it's like... This is interesting. I was wondering if someone was going to help us. I mean, to be fair, your job is to turtle the game out. I will give you some feedback here. Your job in this type of game is to turtle it out and wait for your newbies to catch up. And for some reason, you're doing a dragon that's not going to really do much for you in the long term. Even getting the dragon, I guess if Sivir lives, it's okay. It's a fine trade if Sivir lives. But I don't know if she lives here. No, it's trash then. I don't like this pick because all this does is have all the lanes. Now, at this point, once they've killed you and Sivir, all these lanes are going to get pushed in. And they're going to get Baron vision control, and you'll probably lose Baron a lot because of this. Or at the very least, you're going to put your team in a position where they're just shoved in their base. Which may not be the worst thing in the world, I guess, if they don't get Baron, but it opens up the possibility of Baron, which I don't like. Yeah, Low Pally's cool. He hosts a stream a lot. This is a conversation that I would love to pull. I would love to pull a bunch of supports in and just talk about this because it's definitely a pain point for my coaching, in that I don't like that. I mean, I know the answer to this game. The answer to this game is literally don't pick Alistar. Or alternatively, win harder. Which, you know, saying win harder isn't really an option for a champion without, like we were saying, like a champion with range pick, with like a hook. Because with Thresh, you know, we could just, like we're saying, like Ray's saying, you just grab Mobies, you run down mid, you come from the fog, and you just hook somebody, lantern the mid laner in, and you can bring a deficit in mid lane. You can turn a deficit in mid lane around pretty quick. Same with top, really. You can do the same thing in top lane. So with Alistar, I mean, we can roam, but it's very telegraphed. So, like, you know, Alistar's going to run with Mobies, but you're just going to walk away. And the only way that you can reliably get anything done, or have an option to even get anything done, is if you have Flash. So I would love to get all the supports in here sometime and talk about, or some of the high elo support guys, and just talk about this. Is it just I, as Neace, am just going to start going, no, you don't get to... You can play this stuff, but... Don't be surprised if it's a team type of game. Because it definitely doesn't feel like this guy was that bad. At least at least in the early game. You said ADCs are the best role to carry most of the time. Your early game depends on autofill support that either suicides as passive or leaves you. 1v2. Don't worry about your team. Don't worry about autofill supports and ADC. Just pick a good ADC and farm well. You'll carry a lot more than you'll lose if you're actually good at ADC. You have my word. If you're not good at ADC, you won't carry very often. Good ADCs are like amazing in a solo queue environment. There's just no way to describe how good or how effective a good, like a late game Tristana or a late game Twitch, or there's just no, you just can't understand the amount of shit that they get to do even with shitty teammates. How many games to get an accurate idea of my deserved rank? Probably like 30. Killer Law! Thanks for the 8 months in a row. Alright, here's what I see, dude. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. This game is very much about the champion that you picked. And the fact that you had shitty teammates. Like, you have shitty teammates, which you're gonna get in solo queue. I acknowledge. But the problem here is you have shitty teammates and you pick a champion that I see no path. I see no clear path to victory. I see no win condition, which does not necessarily mean my team, although we can say my team in the chat because that's fun. We can all spam that shit now. We could bitch about our teammates, and we could say, well, you know, I won my lane, I did my job, and you did. You played fine. You know, the ganks came, you set them up, you hit your combos. Honestly, I give you your props. In reality, you did a great job of setting up some good plays for your teammates. The problem is, dude, you're playing a champion that just doesn't have, in this composition, there's no range pick and there's no wave clear. Range pick can put an end to sieges, right? Which is at its core, all solo queue. When we're playing in like fucking bronze to platinum in solo queue, our goal is to just, when we're behind, just delay the game. Delay it. Like, if we're pushing, or if we're ahead, our goal is to knock down objectives fast and quickly and give our team the most gold as fast as possible to give our team the best chance of winning when we get a lead. Alright? When we're behind, our goal is the opposite. Our goal is to turtle on every objective and to let the enemy team make a mistake. In the case of Alistar, your only function really would be to flash combo somebody and knock them into a tower. In my opinion, Sivir and Tower dove top. I mean, he did roam. I mean, he didn't isolate top or anything, but he did roam around the map and get things done. It's just a matter of Pantheon was already losing to a gangplank, or Malzahar was already losing to a gangplank pretty hard, and there's nothing that he can really do about that. Gangplank, like, it's just we're nitpicking. That's what I feel like. I feel like we're nitpicking. It's not clear. Nothing here was clear. Mid-game macro, where to find farm. Yeah. So I think that ultimately this was my team-ish, but it's part because you picked this champion. You picked this champion. So at the end of the day, it's one of those situations where if I was you, and this is the only coaching advice I could give, because you hit your combos, you made reasonable engages, even the stuff I tried to criticize wasn't that bad. It's just Alistar is one-dimensional. And unfortunately for you, because you chose Alistar, who's a very one-dimensional, team-reliant champion, you had a team that you needed to rely on, and they did not hold up. So that's the gamble you take. That said, I think it's a positive expectation overall. You did a good job of winning your lane and trying to apply pressure to the rest of the map. And the enemy bot lane was gimped as a direct result of what you did. You did come out of lane phase pretty far ahead. But your lane victory was just because of Evelyn ganks, which again is team reliant, and your team also just bombed in the mid to late game. So what can you really do? And this is where people ask, well, how do we carry then? Any champion like a Blitzcrank Thresh is a better option than an Alistar if we're looking at flat utility. The main reason being, it's just like the choice between Alistar or Braum or Thresh or Blitzcrank, right? Alistar or Braum are going to give, overall, they're going to give more, or even Tark, they're going to give more overall just like utility and raw team fight advantage, whereas champions like Blitzcrank and Thresh are going to give you what you need, which is lane dominance and transitioning into mid-game picks. That's the difference. Yeah, their team fights are weaker, but their command of the early game and snowballing the game, which is very important in League of Legends, especially in solo queue where little kids give up as soon as the game gets hard. That's why champions like Blitzcrank and Thresh are over champions like Braum, Alistar, and Taric and shit like that. Yeah, I would even rather see a Leona than an Alistar, because at least with Leona we can come up with some ways to like pick people off. And yeah, this guy actually does play Rakan, and it's the same thing. It's a matter of all these different champions, half of whom don't have some, they don't have some reliable way to catch people out, and the other half does. Yeah, the Leona buffs helped. So I know this isn't what you want to hear. I wish I could give you more actionable feedback on like what we could have done on this one, but yeah, I don't really see it other than pick different champs and understand what you're getting when you play a champion like Alistar. Okay, cool. Bam. Cringy YouTube outro time. If you enjoyed this coaching, there's a sub button above my head. You can click it, and there's some videos to my left and right. All right, thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace. Cracks. Thanks.